Hello there and welcome to Football Fridays, the teen TV show that looks ahead to the weekend's football matches. Would you believe it, there was another graphical mistake in last week's show on the screen where you saw photos from Norwich 2, Bolton 0. It once again said January instead of February, so we do apologise. We will get it right eventually. But what's coming up on today's show, I hear you ask? Well, we have last week's Premier League and Championship results, as well as Tuesday's Championship results, and the fixtures for the forthcoming game week, and guess what? The Championship. We also have the Premier League table to show you, plus the standings in the Championship. We'll then spread the news that Mick McCarthy has been sacked as the Wolves manager, before going on to talk about the fact that Manchester City's Mario Balotelli was racially abused in last night's Europa League match against Porto. So make sure you stay tuned to Teen TV's Football Fridays. But let's kick off with the results from last weekend, starting with the Barclays Premier League. It finished Aston Villa 0, Manchester City 1 at Villa Park on Sunday. Blackburn beat QPR 3-2 on Saturday afternoon. It finished Bolton 1, Wigan 2 at the Reebok. Everton beat a struggling Chelsea 2-0 at Goodison Park. As Fulham beat Stoke 2-1 at Craven Cottage. Manchester United beat Liverpool 2-1 at Old Trafford in one of the most controversial games ever in the Saturday lunchtime kickoff. Sunderland lost 2-1 at home to Arsenal. Norwich narrowly beat Swansea by 3-2 at the Liberty Stadium. And Tottenham shattered Newcastle 5-0 in the late kickoff. It finished Wolves 1, West Brom 5 at Molineux on the Sunday. Now into the Championship. Barnsley vs Birmingham was postponed because of a frozen pitch. Blackpool drew 1-1 with Portsmouth in the late kickoff. Crystal Palace's match at home to Doncaster was also postponed because of that annoying frozen pitch, but Hull managed to get their game on and they beat Bristol City 3-0. Unfortunately though, Ipswich v Middlesbrough was called off after 37 minutes because guess what? The pitch was frozen. It finished Leeds 1, Brighton 2 and Leicester 2, Cardiff 1. It finished goalless at the Den where Millwall were up against Derby. Nottingham Forest also drew, but it finished 1-1 in their match against Watford. Peterborough against West Ham was postponed because of you know why. However, Reading beat Coventry 2-0. It finished Southampton 2, Burnley 0 at St Mary's. Now the results from the midweek games in the Championship, where all 12 games went ahead. But there were no goals in the game between Birmingham and Hull at St Andrews. But there were goals at the Amex Stadium. It finished Brighton 2, Millwall 2. It was the same scoreline at Ashton Gate, where Bristol City were taking on Crystal Palace. Burnley beat Barnsley 2-0 and Cardiff beat Peterborough 3-1. Coventry beat Leeds 2-1 and Derby lost 1-0 at home to Reading. It finished Doncaster 1, Blackpool 3 and Middlesbrough 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Ipswich beat Portsmouth 1-0 at Fratton Park and Watford beat Leicester 3-2 at Vicarage Road. It was all square at Upton Park as West Ham could only manage a 1-0 draw with high-flying Southampton. Now if that wasn't enough for you, we have some Championship fixtures for you now. These are for matches being played from the 17th of February, that's today, to the 22nd of February, which I believe is next Wednesday. So Barnsley are up against Portsmouth, Blackpool are playing West Ham, Crystal Palace are playing Watford tomorrow, and Hull City will take on Brighton and Hove Albion on Wednesday night. It's Ipswich v Cardiff and Leeds v Doncaster. Millwall are at home to Middlesbrough on Tuesday night, and Nottingham Forest are playing Coventry tomorrow afternoon. It's Peterborough vs Bristol City at London Road, and Reading are playing Burnley tonight. Southampton are playing Derby. Now for the first time ever we have the actual league tables for you all. Manchester City are top after beating Aston Villa, and Manchester United are sitting second. Tottenham are doing well in third, and then it's Arsenal and Chelsea. The bottom half looks like this. Wolves, Bolton and Wigan are currently occupying the relegation zone, as QPR and Bolton are holding on to 16th and 17th by the skin of their teeth. Here's the Championship table. West Ham are top with Southampton only a point behind, as Cardiff, Blackpool, Birmingham and Reading sit happily in the playoff places. Here's the bottom half. It's Coventry, Nottingham Forest and Doncaster in the relegation zone. Now for some news. Mick McCarthy has been sacked as Wolves manager. He was fired on Monday and already they're looking for a replacement. Their next match is against Newcastle on the 25th of February. Now on to Manchester City and Mario Balotelli. Last night in their 2-1 win against Porto in the Europa League, it seemed Porto fans racially abused the Italian. Manchester City are complaining to UEFA. If you have any comments you'd like to make on this or anything else you've seen on today's show, send us an email, footballfridays@ukteentv.com. We'd love to hear from you. That's it for Football Fridays for this week. We'll see you again soon for more fixtures and results from the Premier League and Championship. Goodbye.